Oh, what's good? We got TayRock in the building. 30-minute delay. Sorry for everybody else waiting, but state of the franchise, man. How do you feel about this week against the Colts, man?
Um, since I watched the Colts last week game, they came off how they was playing pretty good. Excuse everyone for my background. I'm outside on my way to work, but I feel like with the injuries that we have right now on the Niners, it's kind of making it hard for us to win games. And it's like we're putting ourselves in positions to win games, and then at the end of games we're losing it. There is no way we should have lost back-to-back games at home like that. There is no way that should have happened. Our record should be we should be like 4-1, maybe 5-0 technically. Somewhere around that. But I feel like we have a good chance if we put ourselves in a position to win and the defense don't let up at the end of the game. That's 2-3 wins we should have under our belt already, but it doesn't look that way. And then Trey Lance is hurt. Garoppolo is iffy if he coming in, and our quarterback play is not really that good. So, and then our running game is not. It's okay, but it's like to me. Listen, I'm a serious Niner fan. I feel like it's below average right now because to the standards where they can be.
Yeah, it's like we should have finished out games, but the problem with our situation is our offense, man. It's been very inconsistent with finishing games where our defense, part of the first couple of weeks when we started the season, the defense needed to improve, but now it's starting to show signs of improvement. Now it's the offense that's kind of holding us back a little bit. But a lot to do with the injuries, but we still should be able to have some guys to step in and play up to the level. Like when you look at our running back depth, it shouldn't matter who's going to play at running back. We should be able to run the ball good no matter who's running the ball.
Exactly. I feel like Trey Sherman should get back out there, put some and I believe in the kid. I like him. So I believe if he didn't get hurt when he was in college in Ohio State, Alabama was going to have a problem with them. Like they was going to really Alabama would have had a problem, but I feel like it was a great pickup because he's a great receiving back as well. And I feel like as long as he can stay healthy, see, that's the only thing wrong with the Niners is the health-wise. If we can keep everybody healthy, I don't think we'll really have too many problems because we're one of the most like offensive geniuses in the league with Kyle Shanahan, but you have to have the players to execute those plays, and everybody's not going to be able to execute those plays as well as the starters because they don't always get those same reps.
Yeah, because it's all based by the way they're not using them. Like Trey Sermon, for example, just hasn't really got much of the carries, even when he should have got some carries. Like the game against the Cardinals, we should have at least used more of Trey Sermon a little bit more, and then split carries between him and Elijah Mitchell, and they would have made it easier for Trey Lance. But what did Shanahan do? He's trying to make Trey Lance into an RG3 2.0 where he's trying to kill himself out there.
That's
he shouldn't. I feel like sometimes his play calling can be a little predictable. Like, what is he doing? Like, I feel like if he knows what he's doing with the quarterback situation, why are you not building up his confidence with a good running game instead of having him run out there when he doesn't need to?
Exactly. I feel like he should go back to the play calling he was doing when we went on that Super Bowl run. That play calling was magnificent when he was doing all season. So I feel like he should get his mindset back to that and expand from that so you could basically – because now you have a quarterback that can use his feet as well as throw, but you have to utilize him the right way. You can't just have him running all over the place. The guy can pass. Like he can be a pocket passer, but he knows when to get out the pocket if need to. And Garoppolo, I'm not giving up on him just yet. But he just can't stay healthy enough for me. Like I don't like. If he can at least play, I feel like if he come back, if he can at least make it to at least week 11, 12 without being hurt, I feel like we'll have a good shot. Then, I mean, Kid will be back. Then other defensive players or offensive players that we need might be back so to get ready for the playoffs because we still have a chance. Excuse me. Apologize.
Yeah, we just got to find the identity of our offense. That's the only thing. I feel like our defense is doing good so far. It's like they're making really good improvement, especially in coverage, even at times where we didn't where we gave up the least amount of yards passing lately. And then most of our pass rush has been showing up. It's just a little bit of the turnovers. We haven't been able to capitalize a lot of it.
Yeah, I feel like Nick Bosa needs to step up a little more now because your rookie year was great and you got hurt. I feel like this is the year you need to really step up and show that you could be that leader. Because D Ford, I didn't even really care for him. My guy is Kurt Warner. Not Kurt Warner, Fred Warner, my fault. I called him Kurt Warner. My bad. I am sorry, Fred. I am sorry. I called him Kurt Warner. No, Fred Warner. That's my guy.
Fred, man.
That's my guy.
The name kind of says itself.
Yeah, so I'm like, he's the leader of that defense, and I feel like people should follow. He reminds me of like Navarro Bowman and Patrick Willis. He's one of those types. Like, I can say one thing about the Niners, we always had some type of good line or great linebacker play. We always had that. It's just sometimes in the deep end, the back end, the corners could be suspect sometimes. And I don't know if it's D'Amico Ryans playing with the defense, because with Robert Salah, when they had that defense was cooking.
I just think it's a little different progress with D'Amico Ryans as DC because it's his first year. Usually it takes some time, but I think he's starting to make some good adjustments. It's all about what goes on with the offense. Like, I feel like with the way he's been making stops against the teams like Arizona, you give up 17 points to that kind of team that averages over 30-plus points a game. It tells you that the defense is not the problem. It's just the offense alone just hasn't been able to capitalize. And the fact we were able to hold on to Seattle for a little while kind of tells you how much we had chances to at least score on offense, and we let that slip away. And the fact we were able to do a little bit better against Green Bay that one game, all it was 37 seconds to make the difference, and we gave up that play. So I don't know.
You don't understand how mad that made me in that Green Bay game. Like, I was like, we about to beat Aaron Rodgers again. Like, and the fact we almost had him at one point, but Green Bay blocked it.
Yeah,
I feel like if we would have had Aaron Rodgers, I feel like it would have to be Super Bowl or bust.
Well, with Aaron Rodgers, he's giving you the chance to compete for a Super Bowl, but the way Green Bay's handling him, it's like they don't really give him a lot of good supporting cast like they used to have. But if he would have played for a team like San Francisco or a team like Washington, then you can say he's contending for those teams, because I think for some reason, Washington's not that bad on defense. Other teams, like if you had other teams for him to fit for, if he were to play for a team like Miami, he would have to pretty much push them further than what they got in Green Bay.
Yeah. And plus, the way I feel like once Trey Lance officially come back, I feel like he should just learn, and then next season just come out week one and just do it like that. You're getting some experience now, but you don't want to get him injury prone too fast, because he's already getting hurt and he just a rookie, and we not even at week 9 yet, and you don't need your star rookie that you traded up for to be hurt already. Right? We don't need that. So a lot of people are saying they're excited about the kid. I love him. Like, I felt as though in the draft we was going to pick him over Mac Jones anyway. I just felt that. But I know Kyle, you just never know. He could have picked Mac Jones, but I just felt like he didn't really fit the system to the type of system Kyle Shanahan has. I feel like where Mac Jones, where he needed to go, was New England. I just felt like that was just a better fit for him. But as far as I say, how do you feel about Josh Norman?
Josh Norman, his veteran experience is good, but he's lost a step as a cover corner. But I think as far as him playing as that guy, he's a good leader. I feel like it's kind of exactly similar to what we had with Richard Sherman, but just a more wiser veteran.
Yeah, I feel you about that. Yeah, because when we got him, all I could think about was the Derrick Henry stiff arm. I was like, we don't need that again. Like, I don't want to put that type of memory on a 49ers legacy. Like, we can't have that. The Bills can have that. Well, I don't want that for the 49ers. So I need him to actually tackle somebody and not get stiff arm and get posterized again. Because for the red and gold, we don't have posters like that. We don't get dealt like that. We hit the people.
Yeah,
so,
we hit them. Like that one play where he actually did make a strip fumble against Green Bay, and I think he got injured on that play. But I think it was Aaron Jones who ran him a little bit stiff, or was it the other running back? I forget his name, AJ Dillon or something.
Yeah, I think it's something like that.
Yeah, but the point about Norman is like, I don't know. It's like one of the weirdest highlights to ever go through. Like he was a really top up and coming corner in his early years. Now he's kind of declined. Now he's becoming the guy that's a pushover. Now it's like he may not be the same, but he's actually adds good veteran leadership. So that's what matters.
Yeah, I feel like how do you feel? I feel like our line can block a little bit better as well. Sometimes they be kind of iffy.
Well, our line is just that's the interior line that I feel more concerned about. Like our center's okay, but he's not like the way he used to be. Laken Tomlinson is all right. Daniel Brunskill, it's more like he's nothing more than a serviceable backup at best.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's nothing there. But on the tackle, McGlinchey's 50-50. I can't trust this guy. But Trent Williams, you got some consistency with him as one of the best tackles in the league, if not the best.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I really miss Raheem Mostert because for some odd reason it's like the line blocks all the way 100% for him. It's like for some odd reason it's like nobody else gets that. Like other people do get that type of blocking, but it's like with him in the backfield, it's like it's a little different because he hit those holes so perfectly. Like it was just the way he ran the ball, and I'm like. I knew who he was before he got to the team, but it was just like that run he had. It was just like crazy. But then once he started getting hurt, I'm like, oh my God, now we can't have one of these. It's like as soon as we get to that peak, and then we try to get back to that peak, it's like we've been having injuries since the Super Bowl, since our Super Bowl run, and it's like we can't get back there because everybody stayed getting hurt. And I love my man George Kittle. I love him, but it's like he's great when he's in the game, and then he be missing for like 6-7 weeks. So it's like when we need you the most, you're not there. You'll be there maybe the first 2-3 weeks, and then we'll see you against like week 9, week 10 when we need you the most because he's a big key of that offense. He could block well, he could catch. Who knows? He probably can pass. I don't think I really seen him pass before. I might have. Not too sure. I'm not going to say he has. Give off no false information, but
yeah,
go ahead. My fault. Go ahead.
No, but I feel like he brings a lot to the table when it comes to it. But then somebody like Raheem Mostert is like he's going to be on the team after his contract is up. But then Elijah Mitchell and Trey Sermon are the future. I think Mostert, when healthy, he is a big difference. Like I've noticed a difference, but. No offense to Elijah Mitchell, he will be at some point one of those good backs that we got. But I think somebody like Mostert, like you just said, it's hard to replace a guy when he gets that good block or whatever the scheme they block. It seems like they do block hard for this guy, but I think it has to do with the fact his speed is like at a high level. You know, it's difference.
Do you think he'll make it back this season?
Nah, he's on injured reserve. I guess he's getting surgery. I guess his season's over from what I'm looking at, but it doesn't look like he might not even come back. I'd be surprised if we bring him back next year.
Yeah, I'll be surprised for that too. Because I feel like we could probably pick up somebody, maybe in free agency or maybe the draft. No, not even in the draft. Maybe in free agency, like a veteran running back, but still keep that like rotation flowing. Because that Tevin Coleman and Raheem Mostert combination was good at one point.
Yeah, I feel like a lot what he does, it's going to be hard to replace him. But in the draft, we always tend to find those guys late rounds. But guys like Trey Sermon and Elijah Mitchell are the future. So you're going to invest a lot of those running backs. But my only question with the Niners, with the running back situation is like, how the heck is Elijah Mitchell just above Trey Sermon? If you really had some high hopes on this guy, you could have gave him some chances, but I guess he just wasn't the guy. Maybe if we would have never traded up from that pick to get Trey Sermon, maybe we could have waited in the 4th round to get somebody like Chuba Herbert, who's actually a really good running back for the Panthers now.
Exactly. Exactly. I was like, yeah, we definitely could have got Chuba. I actually I love his running style because he's aggressive and he's aggressive and he has a finesse game, running game.
Yeah, and he's a good receiving back too. And one thing about him was like Hey, I like the Trey Sermon pick, but it doesn't look like he fits what they're running with the system. Like you finally you get somebody in the late round and he ends up being the better guy. So it's like, damn.
You just never know in the draft. Sometimes it's just it all depends if that fits the type of scheme that they want to run. Because it's either it's going to work or not. So if it's going to work, great. If it's not, got to move on from it and try something else. But you have to use the person to even see if it fits, because if you're not really using them like that, because at one point when Raheem Mostert first came in, it was okay, and then it built up to what it was. So you really have to give him a couple chances to really see, because he came on at the end of the year before the Super Bowl era, because Super Bowl run, because it was him and Breida. It was him and Breida in the backfield, and Breida, he was a fast one too, but I guess they stopped using him after a while. I didn't understand that when you got two speedsters, and one is a power speedster, the other one just a speedster. So why not use that combination? Most teams don't have backs like that.
Yeah, they don't. But the thing with Breida was it had to do with the ball security, which he was rarely ever fumbling. But that season he did fumble a lot unexpectedly, and I think that's why Shanahan put him in the doghouse. But see, I may agree with Bay Area native is saying Sherman doesn't get enough opportunities. Well, to be honest with you, I think he doesn't get enough carries. Like, I think if you give him some carries, like, let's be fair, give a compliment. Elijah Mitchell, give him about 10 or 11 carries or 12 carries or whatever, and give some carries to Trey Sermon about 10 or about the amount. Make it fair. Make it split. Do a 50-50 with the running back. Whoever's the hot hand, give him at least 5 to 6 more carries and see how it goes.
I think 15 to 15.
Yeah. See, if you split it between whoever's the hot hand, give him 50 more carries. 15 more would actually give him some chances. If Sherman's the hot hand, I give him 50 more extra carries just to see how it goes.
And then each game, you just weigh it out to see who could really be the actual back that could carry the load.
Yeah. Trey Sermon is just, he kind of reminds me more of a running back that we kind of envision more, but he's not. Like, he just needs to get more opportunities. He kind of reminds me more of a younger Arian Foster, just a patient runner and the style of running play he has. But then I start to look more of his style. I'm starting to think, he's a little bit more of a better version of what Carlos Hyde should have been.
Yeah, I was disappointed in Carlos Hyde.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I thought he would have been good too, but I think it's the style of running play, and I think eventually that's why Shanahan didn't keep him at the next year. So when Mitchell had good opportunity, he got a little over 100 yards rushing. It's because of the run plays. He's fast, and if you take away the Detroit Lions game, I don't think he really had much of a performance except some good runs here and there. He had maybe about 4 good runs, and then the rest of them were like solid runs. But if you open up the holes good for Mitchell, that's kind of like exactly the same way how people would say about Mostert. But the difference with Mostert was he was going straight line speed quick. Yeah, but Mitchell was just like a guy that's fast too, but he was a physical type runner also.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, you look at the track speed, Mostert was just not the kind of guy that would just go on a power move and hit and run you over like most people. He would just run straight forward. But Sherman is more like that kind of running back. Yeah. If Sherman had the same opportunity, he would probably do the same. I think if you gave him the fair opportunity, which they didn't give him much of an opportunity, they should have gave him at least 6 or 7 more carries against the Cardinals. He could have at least had some chances, but I don't know what the coaching staff to me confuses me a little bit with opportunities. Like, for example, Ayuk was having a breakout year, and then the coaching staff's coming up with some excuses why he's not performing or whatever reason, and it scratches my head a little bit. And then you're going to put some other receiver like Travis Benjamin over a guy like Juwan Jennings and Trent Sherfield, who are well deserving of more playing time than that guy did, and they picked him off the practice squad. Come on. What kind of stuff was that?
Exactly. That's what I understand. It's like, and it's like, now look at Chris Godwin on the Bucks. But when we had him, we didn't use him like that.
Oh, we didn't have Godwin.
It was one of them. What's his name?
Oh, Goodwin. You mean Marquise Goodwin?
Yeah, Marquise Goodwin. He's actually playing better than he played when he played for us.
Well, his first year he was doing better with us. He had like almost 1,000 yards, but ever since then his production declined. So I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. It's just like I feel like Debo and Ayuk could really be a great two-man wide receiver team. But it's just like you gotta come up with plays for both of them, not just Kittle and Debo, and sometimes Ayuk. You have to incorporate everybody, but the same token, Ayuk is fast. You can hit him on a stop and go, a straight go, come across the middle because he has a great release. He can get away from defenders. It's just I feel like Garoppolo plays timid sometimes. Like he be looking scary in the pocket. He looks scary in the pocket sometimes, and I'd be like, okay, I think he's worrying about not getting hurt instead of just playing. If you're not thinking about getting hurt, you're not going to play timid. You're going to just play ball out.
I think a lot to do with Garoppolo is if you pressure him up front, that's where he kind of struggles the most. But then there's times where if you give him some little extra time, he might be able to deliver. But I feel like for some reason there's just a lot of stuff. But I guess since we were debating about the running back, I guess this one fan from a different team would say maybe he had opportunities in camp and then the coaches were not impressed. Like, what does it take for certain players? I mean, why even bother to invest these players if they're not impressed with it? Like, it's like you like what you saw from tape, and then you just realize they're just not exactly what they are. Like, for example, Aaron Banks, they like this kid coming out of Notre Dame, and he hasn't played a single snap. And then you look at a guy like Aubrey Thomas, they liked him too, but guess what? He didn't play. He only played one snap. I think he played a couple snaps against the Lions, and he didn't do too much. And what's even sad is a guy from Oregon named Diamadolo Lenore is a better cornerback than him, and he's getting more snaps than him. So it tells you how bad it is with these. So they draft okay in the early rounds, but in the late rounds they find some good players.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Jonas? This is a Bears fan. We'll probably see the Bears probably the following week.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a good matchup if our offense could show up.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's MalcGoolie's team, so I definitely would be talking my trash to him like I always do when we do the our morning shows. Oh yeah, why you don't come up on the morning shows on Sundays?
Hey, what's up, LA Duluth? My bad, bro. Saw you popping in, Bay Area native. What's up? Chosen one, which he's a Seattle fan, but what's up, man? Everybody else, I guess everybody. Oh yeah, Travis Burge is that Raider fan, and my boy Creep Loco, he's a Niners fan too. But everybody else, but like, okay, well, like as far as prediction, like, how do you feel about this matchup against the Colts?
I feel like I once said again, if we're winning this game, as long as we don't give up the game in the fourth quarter, I'll be satisfied. I don't care if we win by 1 point. I just have to feel like at least compete. Don't make us look bad. Just compete. Like I feel like if you're gonna play this game and y'all want to get back on the right track, we're going to have to step it up on offense. I believe the defense is going to do their job. I believe the defense is definitely going to do their job. But I just feel like the offense. I feel like we'll be able to run on this team.
Well, as far as their defense is okay, it's not like the way they were last year, but I feel like their offense is still in some growing pains because of the fact that Carson Wentz goes through these injuries, and I think they're starting to figure out themselves and starting to click in on offense, and that might be the scary factor. If you would have played the Colts early in the season, like week 1 or 2 or something like that, then you would have said, hey, we would be able to beat them because they're going through the rust, because the fact that Carson Wentz was coming off an injury from the Eagles, and then the fact that him and Frank Wright have familiarity, but it takes time for them to start clicking. Now this is the wrong time to actually play the Colts, because the Colts, now you see their offense starting to click in. You see that the game against the Baltimore Ravens, they started clicking in pretty good against that team. Now that the Ravens were kind of like the joke for 1 minute because they lost to the Raiders, but now they're looking a lot better than they were the previous weeks. Now they're looking like a really good team, which I didn't expect. I thought they were going to fall apart because of their injury to that running back. Now they're looking like really solid now. Well, I know it's too early, but what do you think of the next draft? Well, we'll get to that in the near future, man. We ain't worried about draft. We're worried about making the playoffs.
Yeah, right. Worrying about the
Yeah,
player.
we were about the playoffs, but as far as like the matchup with the Colts, the one that's more concerning is how we're going to stop T.Y. Hilton. Unless he's going to be ruled out, then maybe I've heard 50-50, but more than likely he's probably going to play.
I, I
Unless he
think
gets ruled out quickly, then I'd be surprised.
I think we can stop T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, he's a burner.
I feel like if we play the right type of defense, we can stop him. We would have to play one under and one over on him.
And that would be like the tough matchup for him because he's a speedster. How are we going to stop Defoe? How are we going to stop DeForest? Is can Jimmy throw the ball quickly? Then maybe we have a chance. But it's this offensive line concerns me when it comes to a guy like Buckner.
Yeah, I know. Yep. Well, yeah. I mean, you see the damage he used to do with us. So
Yeah. So okay, if we look back in that time, did you think it was the biggest mistake to trade Buckner? Instead, we keep Armstead, who was actually a free agent, and you just bring this guy back for like what is it, $17.5 million?
I gave him up.
To me, it was the most questionable move to just the fact that I wish some other team would have offered Armstead more money, and then maybe we would have kept Buckner in a reasonable contract. But no, seems to me they just said, "Oh, we like Buckner. He had one good year. Oh, he had 10 sacks. Let's keep him." Why not? Buckner was actually more consistent. He was actually the most consistent player for us. I think we should have kept Defoe. Yeah, he was our most consistent player. He was the guy that took double teams. He was the guy that made everybody better around him. But when you look at Armstead, what's he done? When you take away the supporting cast, the guy's barely average or maybe even below because his production is not exactly the way it is. Maybe as a run stopper, you might like what he has, but he's not quite the pass rusher that everybody was talking about when he had the 2019 season. Yeah, he had his 10 sacks, but who did he benefit? Nick Bosa, Buckner, and a lot of other guys like B4. They made his job easy. But you take away those guys, he only had 3.5 sacks last year.
Yeah, that's definitely true. When we had Buckner, it was just like the defense. That defensive line was just different. Like people were scared. People ain't really want to play us. They knew that type of line that was going to happen. That's why I feel like we should have never even lost to the Chiefs for that Super Bowl because the defense held up, and then here come the offense. I feel like Kyle Shanahan took us when we had the momentum. He took his foot off their neck and got conservative. And I think that's where we lost that game. But as far as the Colts, as long as we don't start off how Baltimore started off, we'll be fine.
Yeah, that's how I would feel. But what do you think of this idea? At the time, we should have had Tag Armstead and trade him, then re-sign Buckner, which could have made a lot of sense. But then people would say we didn't have much salary cap at one point. We were only able to keep maybe some certain players.
Because we didn't really, a lot of other players was already signed though, so we had some room to sign. That tagged and trade them. Yeah, that would have made a lot of sense actually. And
yeah, it could have, but I think it had to do with the financial reasons. I think they just wanted to keep one player because of the difference. But I guess some fans have different perspective about Armstead, and some of them are saying that we should have kept Buckner. But I think in some ways they're looking at the pro football grades, and I guess Armstead is listed a little bit better than Buckner, which I don't see what's the difference. But I think it has to do with his run stop or the fact he's maybe creating pressure. But I'm not too fond of Eric Armstead as much. I think he's just a little overrated for his production for one good year. I think if he was more consistent, kind of like what Buckner was, then I would have had a good agreement about that. But I feel like the 1 year he ever produced was pretty much his contract year. Usually those players who play at their contract year are the ones that want to get paid pretty good.
they wanted, even if it's not with the same team.
Yeah, even if it's not with the same team, they're just looking for that big payday, and it happens out of the blue.
Yep, and that tends to happen a lot. Like they want to play out. You don't want to play, but 2 years. You got 2 years left. You want to play mediocre, but it's that last year of your contract. Now you want to do all of this. No, if you'd have been consistent with it, you probably would have got a real big payday if you'd be consistent with it. Then people feel like they really need you. make a team. You have to make a team as a player. You have to make the team feel like they need you by your type of player. If you're a dominant player, the team, the organization is going to pay you because you're that dominant player. If you're consistent 2, 3, 4, or 5 years down the line, you're going to get that big payday because look like a Aaron Donald. He's dominant in a quiet way. Like he's always his name is always going to be mentioned when it comes to defensive players. That's how I want Nick Bosa's name to be and Armstead's name to be, but they have to play up to that potential. I don't understand what's going on. Like I said, maybe I say next season with D'Amico Ryan's defense, maybe it'd be a little better. Because maybe this is the first year with it. They're testing it out, see what they can do, see what they can't do. I say by next year, they should have this defense locked down and there shouldn't be no issues.
Yeah, that's the thing, but it had to do with the contract factor. And I feel like even if it wasn't the case, I think there was a chance maybe they could have worked out halfway with Buckner. But I think the point is like, Armstead's going to take a reasonable contract. Yeah, one breakout year. But if you take away all the supporting cast, I think Armstead just only had the beneficial. Like, if you give him the best supporting cast, that's where he produces maybe at his best. But I feel like he's not the kind of guy that would carry your defense. Like, Buckner, for example, when he took the double team, he was still a factor. See, I get that some people say, oh, yeah, he doesn't deserve the Aaron Donald type money. I get that part. But for a guy that played at a consistent level, it's well-deserving for some players. Some players that even get paid the same amount as Aaron Donald, they're not even the same level as him, and they're getting paid the same amount as him. Like, I think it's kind of like unfair to say, Buckner's on the same level as Aaron Donald, but how come some other players are getting paid a little bit like at the same level as him? And they're not even as good as Buckner also.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like as long as the offensive line don't let Buckner go crazy, we'll be fine. But what we have to do is to sustain him, throw some screens, quick passes, to the point where you don't have Garoppolo just sitting back, just looking for people to throw to. Make it a quick game so Buckner could get frustrated to the point where his game is not on point. Sorry, I had to say that about Buckner because that's basically one of my favorite Niners, but he's on the opposite team now, so I have to say that about him because we had to make sure, because once that defensive line started going crazy, momentum changes fast, just like that, and you'll be out of a game in less than you know it.
Yeah, that's one thing that's hard to replace out of him. But I feel like if we play against him, it's going to be a tough matchup. But I feel like our line has to really hold up good against this guy because even if you double team him, the other guy on his other side would look better. So that's going to open up a little more, and that's the concerning factor. If Jimmy can really release the ball a little quickly and have maybe a little extra time to at least look into the next read and get the next receiver open, then he should be fine. But if he's going to get pressure by Buckner constantly, it's going to be kind of tough for this matchup.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Yeah. So the point is about this matchup is I feel like at the time when we made that trade, I just thought it was the dumbest move. But then when you look at it, how is Javon Kinlaw going to make any difference? Like, this guy was more of a downgrade because he's a big body guy, but the problem with him is his knee. I knew from right in the draft when we picked this guy, I was like saying, why the hell we even get this guy? I looked at a lot of his medical and I said, that's going to lead to, it's going to be a long-term issue because those arthritis knees is like, it's kind of like he has to operate like every other year to clean up the scope or something like that. And that's not good for him. That's not normal for some athletes to go through that. And he'd be lucky to maybe finish his rookie contract. Then he might not be exactly the way he was.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Because I feel like, okay, how do you like Greenlaw?
Yeah, Greenlaw, like the linebacker, how I feel about him.
Yeah.
He's a good dude. He makes good tackles. Like, he makes some good plays, but he was injured on this season, but he's usually not that injured like most of the players we got. Like, him and Warner were durable, but it was just one of those games where he did get injured, but it's rare for him.
Yeah, as long as, like I said, as long as we don't get down early, fast, I feel like we'll be okay. As long as we're competing through the whole game, everything will be just fine as long as, like I say, if we up like 28-21 or something like that, or 21-21 with like 3 minutes left. We scored, then they come down. We can't let them score.
Yeah, we can't. So the question is, I like what we've seen out of our depth with Alshon Alzire. He's a good linebacker, like a good depth. But then what's even interesting is we did sign Michael Kendricks. I don't know if they're going to actually play him at the Sam spot, but if that's the plan to play him right there, I guess this might be an interesting thing. And plus, Marcel Harris is 50-50 on playing because he had thumb surgery, so I think he might be ruled out that week.
Yeah, I don't think he is playing. I think he might be ruled out. But you never know. Sometimes these guys be coming, they be like, I'm going to rule out. Then they just, when the game day come, they in the game.
They in the game, yeah, pretty much. But what would be your prediction for the Colts and Niners matchup?
28-17.
And who would win on that game for you? The Colts or the Niners?
Niners.
All right. I see. I like you're optimistic. I feel like I should feel the same way, but we just have to show up on offense, man. If like you flipped it the other way around, I had it that way, but in some perspectively, I'm just hoping we could turn it around when we play the Colts. But I feel like after we play the Colts, we're going to play a really good defensive team, so that's going to be a tough matchup going down the stretch. But as far as our division, it's kind of like tough now when you got Arizona. I'm wondering if they're going to start falling apart at this point. And then you got the Rams, who are really good too, but then the Seattle Seahawks are falling off because of Russell Wilson. I don't know if they're going to ever overcome this adversity without their starting quarterback, so that's going to be tough. But
I
for
feel
us,
like I still have a chance. That's why I said we still, besides Arizona, for real, because we could beat the Rams for real. I believe because from our reason, we always find a way to beat the Rams.
yeah, Rams are always been a team we figured out a lot over the years. But when it comes to a team like Seattle, we just have no answer, even if they're at their worst. That's the sad part. But in some ways, man, it's going to be tough down the stretch. So I know that most teams will look at us and say, yeah, we have no excuses. We're not going through like the most injuries like last year. Last year, we had the most devastating injuries, but it's not as bad as the previous years. Like there should be no excuses. We should be able to have the depth to overcome this, but we're not. I don't know what we're built for. We gotta be built to overcome a lot of these adversities. But for me to be more convinced about this matchup, I feel like this is a game where we do have to bounce back. And if we don't, it's going to be tough to come down the stretch. And then we're going to play a team like Chicago and other teams down the stretch that are probably determined to make a push for the playoffs. And that's not going to be good for us. So we have to play at our best this game. Rams are better this time around, but let's not get too confident. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
True, that's true. I was just saying, even when like last year or the year before, it's like I'm not saying that we want to always beat them, but I feel like we always figure out a way to beat them for some odd reason. Like it's not like it's not like we blowing them out. It's like it'd be like late in the fourth quarter and we got to go score and touchdown and win the game. It's like when Kendrick Bourne caught that pass or Manuel Sanders caught that pass all the way down on that bomb when we playing the Rams. It's like you just, for some odd reason, we always find a way at late in the game to beat the Rams. I'm not saying that because I believe they're much better with Matt Stafford, to be honest. To me, I just feel like he's finally getting his chance to really prove he could do something after all these years. So the only reason why I said 28 is because I'm putting pressure on the 49ers. So I need them to really step their offense up. Now, because my first prediction would be like 14-10, but in the NFL these days, ain't nobody having no 14-10. It's not going to be a lot of 14-10 games.
It's going to be tough down the stretch. These games are not guaranteed wins. So for the Colts, even though the record doesn't speak for themselves, they're not guaranteed to dominate us. Like I've seen the media kind of writing us down, and that's good. Let them write them down because we're not playing our best football. So maybe this is a wake-up call for us to step up for once. I want the entire media to write us down so we can get the underdog mentality and play for something instead of being those overhyped favorites. Because it's crazy how Stafford has changed the team. Well, the fact that the Lions just don't give them the best supporting cast, and I feel like the Rams just have a lot of good supporting cast to make it easy for them. Like, I'm pretty sure any quarterback can benefit that. I'm pretty sure if a team like the Rams can get any quarterback, bro, they can get even Derek Carr to play out there, and he probably would play at an MVP level if he was with the Rams. Even for a guy like Carson Wentz, if that was the case, he would have looked good with the Rams too. I mean, you got a lot of different scenarios with these quarterbacks. Like, I think that's the difference. Sean McVay can really coach good with everybody. Like Jameis Winston, I think he would have probably made some good improvement under Sean McVay.
Yeah,
I think it's a lot to do with the way he runs the offense. I think people don't really give this guy enough credit like the way he is. Like, his record speaks for itself, and he's still a young coach, and he's still innovative. People may say, yeah, Shanahan is good too, but look at Sean McVay. Can't ignore the fact he's succeeding in the Rams.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
I mean, yeah.
How do you feel? Okay. I say Garoppolo does play. How many yards do you see him passing for?
Well, looking at the secondary, if Garoppolo plays at his best or plays solidly good, I think maybe barely 200 yards, and maybe our running game is a good factor. I think if he throws like 220 or something, maybe a touchdown, like 2 touchdowns and 1 pick, and you look at our running game getting about 150 combined, and I feel confident about the way we're playing, but I don't think Garoppolo's going to put up the Gaji stats,
Yeah, I gave him a range of saying like 180, 220.
Yeah, around there. Even then, that's pretty reasonable. And then you take away his touchdowns and picks, you put it like 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. That would probably be the only difference I would see out of it.
Yeah. This played better than Carson Wentz.
Yeah, Carson Wentz is getting his money's worth, that's for sure. But the fact that he's getting a fresh start with the Colts, that's kind of scary, because I think the fact that Eagles are not getting the idea how to work with him, but now they just a change of culture is what's hurting the Eagles now, because they got to go with Jalen Hurts. So Jalen Hurts is, don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure he'll be a solid, good quarterback, but the fact that Carson Wentz could never stay healthy, I can understand why they made that move, because they spend a lot of money on this guy, and he never stayed healthy. That's just like the way we are with Jimmy Garoppolo. We paid you so much money to play, and you can't even stay healthy, dude. If I sneezed, you'd be injured. So what's the difference, Jimmy?
That's definitely right. Definitely right. But
yeah.
I don't mean to cut this short, because I'm about to have to get on the train.
Oh, that's all good, bro. I was about to end it in a bit.
That's why I'm on my way to work. That's why I stopped. So that's why I said, excuse my background, because I'm outside, so I put the car down at the moment, so I got to get on the train. So I know if I got on the train, it would have been too loud, nobody would have heard me, and I want to make sure everybody heard what we was talking about. We was talking about all my Niners fans out there. That's actually my next tattoo. I'm about to get that tattooed on me, 49ers for life.
All right, man. Got you, man. We'll part in the
You have to come on our Sunday morning shows when we do when we pick it, talk about the teams for that week. You have to jump on.
I'll see what's up with it, man. Just got to check on my schedule. But other than that, man, appreciate you on the show. Definitely keep it in the near future. We'll probably have a discussion. Maybe I'll even have Jay and the Bay in the mix also.
Yeah. I was on his show before as well. I was definitely on his show. I actually just started my channel, so I'm going to definitely probably bring both of y'all on my channel, bring some other guys. We can network, do some other things. Just never know.
All right, but how do I find your channel? Like I haven't noticed your channel. I know it's something with TayRock, but I can't find your actual main channel.
It's TayRock Talking Sports.
Okay.
My brother has actually he has the link to it, so he can send you the link to it. You can follow me. I think I'm already following your YouTube page. I think I'm already following you with that. If not, I'll look after this.
Yeah, definitely, man.
If my next time we talk, I'm gonna be in a better setting. I'll be in my house. I'll be more. It won't be all this noise behind me. And we can actually get into detail on certain things when it comes to the 49er teams and actual football.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Well, other than that, man, appreciate you on the show. I'm going to let my phone charge up. But for all the guesses, if your link's on the description, I'm pretty sure they'll find you. Or unless. Yeah. All right, man. So have a good one, bro. So the stream's at its end, bro. Catch you later.
Bye.